What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, with another edition of Where, Pick, and Dare, where I pick games for the various games that are occurring tomorrow. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, basically whatever games I want to pick, I will pick them. With all that being said, on with the video. MLB, Texas Rangers versus New York Yankees. The Rangers have a 37% chance to win, and the Yankees have a 63% chance to win. This is at New York. For pitchers, Eovaldi for the Rangers has an ERA of 1.61 and a WHIP of .77. And Rodon for the Yankees has an ERA of 3.17, the WHIP of .99. So it's good pitching for both teams, but I'd say it's a definite advantage for the Rangers. So despite the home field advantage that the Yankees have, I think with the pitching advantage, I think the Rangers will beat the Yankees tomorrow. Cleveland Guardians versus Detroit Tigers. The Guardians have a 38.1% chance to win, and the Tigers have a 61.9% chance to win. This is at Detroit. And for pitchers, Piccone for the Guardians has an ERA of 5.4 and a WHIP of 1. And Flaherty for the Tigers has an ERA of 4.44 and a WHIP of 1.22. Now, Piccone's only pitched 5 innings. Flaherty's pitched 46.2. So, as far as, his career, I mean, he hasn't played a lot. So, in his career, he's allowed 70, 73 earned runs, you know, with 109 innings pitched. And, once you do the math, his ERA is like around 6.03. So, yeah, that's not great pitching. So, I mean, it's not necessarily good pitching for either side, but I'd say the advantage is definitely in the favor of the Tigers. So with the pitching advantage and the home field advantage, I think the Tigers will beat the Guardians tomorrow. Seattle Mariners versus Houston Astros. The Mariners have a 41.8% chance to win, and the Astros have a 58.2% chance to win. For pitchers, Kirby for the Mariners has not pitched at all this year, and McCullers for the Astros has an ERA of 7.88 and a WHIP of 2.13. Now he's only pitched innings this year, so for Kirby, I guess with that small sample size, we'll have to do some math to guess who has the advance. So, for you, you know, so what? So Kirby, what's he has pitched 511 and 2/3 innings. Uh, Yeah. So to do this, and he's allowed 195 earned runs. So 195 divided by 511 and 2/3, multiplied by 9. That gets us like a career ERA of around 3.43. Now for McCullers Jr. in his career, he has pitched 726 and 2/3 innings. Yeah. And he has allowed 285 earned runs. And for ERA, that gets us an ERA of approximately 3.53. So not really significant difference pitching wise. Not like it's good pitching for both for both of them in their career. Now, obviously, McCullers' ERA is not necessarily great right now, but it probably could be him only pitching 8 innings. So, yeah. So it's not so based on their careers. There's not a significant advantage like either side as far as pitching goes. So I say home field advantage. With this being at the Astros, so I think the home field advantage for the Astros will give them the victory over the Mariners tomorrow. NBA, Minnesota Timberwolves versus Oklahoma City Thunder, Game 2. OKC is up 1-0 in the series, and they have a 71.5% chance to win. And the Wolves have a 28.5% chance to win. This is at OKC. So, this could be a good game, but, OKC is obviously going to be favored, as they should be. And I think with the home field advantage, which I think will be very important in, you know, in in all these series in the NBA playoffs. I think the Thunder win game 2 tomorrow to go up 2-0 in the series. College baseball, California Golden Bears versus Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. So, Cal has made a good run in the ACC tournament. Despite being, they're unranked, they have 24-30 record. Tech is ranked 16 with a 39-16 record. So they got themselves back into the rankings after some upsets that had happened to them. And this being Durham, North Carolina, there's probably gonna be more Georgia Tech fans than Cal fans. I mean, that's just a fact. And Tech has played better for the most part this year than Cal. And so I think with how well Tech has played, with the likely somewhat of a home field advantage that the Yellow Jackets will have, which is not that often for Tech, especially when they're going against their arch rivals in that from Athens. So yeah. So with the somewhat home field advantage the Yellow Jackets will have, and maybe just that they're playing better. I mean, Cal basically needs to win the tournament to make to the NCAA tournament. Tech, they're good. They're in. They're in the tournament. But with all this stuff, I think the Yellow Jackets will beat the Golden Bears tomorrow. Clemson Tigers versus NC State Wolfpack. Clemson is ranked 14 in the nation, a 42-15 record. NC State's ranked 22 with a 33-18 record. So with this being in Durham, North Carolina, you know that's significantly closer to Raleigh, North Carolina, than to you know than where than Clemson University, you know, which is in Clemson, South Carolina. So then so this could be a very good game. Like this could be very good. Like two ranked ACC opponents. I mean, Clemson will probably have a decent crowd there, but NC State will probably outnumber them. Like NC State will outnumber them. So I think with the home field advantage that NC State will have, they will. I think the Wolfpack will beat the Tigers tomorrow. Texas A&M Aggies versus Auburn Tigers. So the Aggies, they need to win this tournament probably to make the NCAA tournament since they're unranked with a 29-25 record. See, Auburn is ranked 8 in the nation, 38-17 record. So Auburn's obviously they're in the tournament. Heck, with their ranking, they might host a super regional. Yeah, of course, when if they would make it that far. But yeah, I mean, this this game, it's in Hoover, Alabama, so it's so odd. You would think there'd probably be more Auburn fans there than Texas A&M fans. Probably a good assumption. I mean, Auburn's not necessarily a big baseball school. A&M's probably more of a baseball school than Auburn is, so is there a possibility there could be more A&M fans there? Yeah, there's a possibility of that. But since it's Auburn being ranked number 8, and with it being in Hoover, Alabama, it's a chance to be more Auburn. So it's hard to say who would have a home, kind of like a home field advantage per se with this, because with some SEC schools, SEC is one of the strongest conferences in baseball. A lot of don't necessarily get extremely high attendance. Like it's not like with football and basketball, or in some just football. I mean, I think, but anyway, with how well Auburn has played this year, regardless of home field advantage or anything, I think the Tigers will beat the Aggies tomorrow. Tennessee Volunteers versus Texas Longhorns. So, SEC tournament game, this could be a really good game. As far as who will show up more, I mean, I don't know whether or not Tennessee or Texas is closer to Hoover, Alabama. That's a tough thing because state of Tennessee that is actually a long state, a lot longer than people think. And Knoxville, it's in East Tennessee, so who knows as far as distance who actually travels longer. I mean, Texas could be because they're in Austin, Texas, so they probably do travel farther. So who knows who actually has more fans there? But Texas is more of a baseball school than Tennessee, so they may have more there just due to that. But as far as Tennessee, they're 21 in the nation. Texas is number 2. You know, this could be a good game. I think with how well Texas has played this year compared to basically everyone else in the SEC, I think Texas is beating Tennessee tomorrow. Oklahoma Sooners versus Vanderbilt Commodores. The SEC tournament game, Oklahoma is unranked with a 35-19 record. Vanderbilt's 9 in the nation with a 39-16 record. So, Oklahoma with their record, they probably have a decent chance of making into a tournament, especially after beating Georgia. Vanderbilt, they're number 9, so they're basically going to host the regional at least. So I mean, they're in. I mean, with Oklahoma, probably could use another win to cement their chances. If they're not cemented, probably. But I think Vanderbilt's winning this game tomorrow. I mean, how good Vanderbilt is, I think Vanderbilt's beating Oklahoma. Michigan Wolverines versus UCLA Bruins. So Big Ten tournament game. Michigan is unranked with a 33-22 record. UCLA is ranked 13 in the nation, 40-15 record. I mean, Michigan, I don't know what their chances are again in the NCAA tournament. With more than 30 wins, they may have a decent chance. UCLA, obviously, they're basically guaranteed to be in, and they're probably going to host with their ranking. I mean, they would have to flub the dub really bad to not host a regional. But yeah, this is, in Omaha, Nebraska. There's probably more Michigan fans there than UCLA fans just due to distance. I mean, traveling from California is probably not easy, to the Omaha, Nebraska. Whereas for Michigan, be a lot easier. But this could be an interesting game. But with a lot of these tournaments, you don't know the teams that are guaranteed to make it. Basically the NCAA tournament. You don't necessarily know how much a lot of them will try because there's some teams that would so if they're basically there are some teams that for pitchers, if they're basically guaranteed to make the NCAA tournament, they won't use their main pitchers in the conference tournament. So it's hard to say how much a team actually will try if they basically have if they know they're making a national tournament. But I think with how well UCLA has played, regardless of any of that, I think they'll beat Michigan tomorrow. Penn State Nittany Lions versus USC Trojans. Neither team is ranked. Penn State has a 32-22 record. USC has a 34-20 record. This being in Omaha, Nebraska, both teams had to travel long distances. I mean, it may not be much of a difference, like as far as who traveled more. So I don't know. I can't necessarily say who has more of a home field advantage. I mean, USC has, I would say, probably a bigger baseball fan base than Penn State does due to how historic USC's baseball program is. So there might be more USC people there than Penn State people. But, as far as, both teams, they have over 30 wins. Their chances of making NCAA tournament, could be decent. I don't know what the bracketology is, but, I think I'm gonna I think that USC will beat Penn State tomorrow. Michigan State Spartans versus Oregon Ducks. Michigan State's unranked with a 28-26 record, so they definitely basically need to win the tournament to have a chance of making the NCAA tournament. And the Oregon Ducks are 4 in the nation, 41-13 record. They're guaranteed to be in. They're a national seed. They're going to be at basically they're at the point where like if they make a super regional, they would automatically host like at this ranking. So yeah, I this could be so Oregon doesn't necessarily do anything. I mean Michigan State, as far Michigan State probably Spartans probably have to travel as far as the Ducks to get to Omaha because I mean it's it's not that far compared to like Oregon. But yeah, but regardless, I think that with how good Oregon is, I think the Ducks are gonna beat the Spartans tomorrow. BYU Cougars versus Arizona Wildcats. The Either team is ranked. BYU has a 28-26 record, so they need to win this tournament in order to make it to the NCAA tournament. And Arizona, it has a 36-18 record. Their odds may be decent. you know, Big 12 tournament. This is, big game. This could be a decent game. I think, you know, I think that Arizona will beat BYU tomorrow. Cincinnati Bearcats versus West Virginia Mountaineers. Big 12 tournament game. Neither team is ranked. Cincinnati is a 32-23 record. West Virginia has a 40-13 record. So West Virginia's odds of making the NCAA tournament are very good. Cincinnati's not as great, but they're probably decent as well. So yeah, both had to travel long distances to get to Arlington, Texas. I mean, I don't know who would have the advantage from like an attendance standpoint. I mean, maybe West Virginia, probably, maybe, but can't definitively say. But with how well West Virginia's played, with that record, I mean, I don't know how they're not ranked with that kind of record. Yeah, I think West Virginia will beat Cincinnati tomorrow. Oklahoma State Cowboys versus Kansas Jayhawks. So this Big 12 tournament game. Oklahoma State is unranked with a 28-22 record, so they probably need to advance farther in the Big 12 tournament in order to have a chance of making the NCAA tournament. Heck, they might need to win it. And Kansas is 25 in the nation with a 42-14 record, so they're basically guaranteed to make the NCAA tournament. This could be a good game because you have team. It's the weird thing with these conference tournaments. You have teams that if they're guaranteed to get in, they may not try as hard, and that's how you get upsets. Now, I think that no, I'm not saying that I think it's gonna happen here. I don't. I think Kansas will beat Oklahoma State tomorrow. And that's it for picks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my picks. Do you agree with them? Do you not? If you have different picks, you can put them in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next video.